All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Chiko Wade, and I'm the Energy Officer for Cherwell District Council. I'm the last speaker, yeah, so don't worry, just one of these presentations. I suppose the benefit I'm going to give you is that we've had our solar system in for roughly 13 months, so I'm going to give you the predicted figures and what we've actually seen. Okay, so this is our installation. It's a 14 kilowatt peak system, roughly about 78 panels installed at one of our depots. We've had monocrystalline modules put in, as you've heard before. Our inverter is a Fronius inverter. There's different types, but they do their job. I monitor how much power is generated from the solar system on a monthly basis, just to keep tabs on the prediction. And this is the figure here. We're predicted to produce 12,400 kilowatt hours a year, which roughly will give this, is about 10% of the site usage. Sorry, I've got to mention, I sit in the climate change team, and I suppose my angle really was to reduce the amount of energy that we draw from the grid. But of course, the feed-in tariff is very nice as well. So the figure I was interested in is the amount of CO2 we reduce, which would have been 6.7 tons of carbon dioxide. We had a good location, as you've heard already. The roof was south-facing, 30-degree pitch. There was no shading whatsoever, and our solar potential, the amount of sunlight we get, was around 967 kilowatt hours per square meter per year. I think the experts may correct me. The average is about 1,000, maybe, around that. Yeah, around there. So it was pretty good. Project plan. There's a 10-week timeline from contract award, mainly because of planning. We worked with Arnhem. Arnhem installed this at our depot. They came, they did structural surveys, a structural integrity survey of the roof and wind surveys. Obviously, we've got the planning permission. But when they were on site, they were not on site for long whatsoever. They set up the scaffolding that they need to set up, stored the panels on site, but they were on and off the site in under 3 weeks, and that included the electrical testing and connecting the system to the grid. Maintenance, I'm not sure how much this is touched on tonight, but we don't have no maintenance schedules that need to be adhered to maintain the warranty. So since they've been put up these past 13 months, no one's touched them. That's the solar panels, that's themselves. The panels are above 15 degrees, so they self-clean with the elements. But for good practice, if they're on a flat roof, it's suggested that you do make sure that they're clean to get the most power out of them. And the inverter, we've been advised to just have an electrical check sort of every 5-10 years on the inverter. Warranties, I think a lot of suspicion when we were going through this process was, they're predicting this amount of electricity, but how do we know? They give you, this is what we got. We got a warranty of 90% of the predicted figure for the first 10 years and 80% for the 15 years. So that's 25 years, the lifetime of the solar panels and the feed-in tariff scheme. The inverter warranty, which was just mentioned just before, we had to factor in that after 10 months the warranty would run out. And we also asked for an entire installed system warranty, workmanship warranty, which we've had with Arden for, they gave us 10 years on that. As I said, there are a number of drivers for Cherwell to go ahead with this project. From the climate change point of view, we need to reduce the amount of CO2 that we emit as a local authority. In these times that we're in financial hardship, the feed-in tariff is a very good spend to save initiative. So I had to throw the right words to the right people, to the finance. I was speaking about the feed-in tariff income, and obviously to my boss, I was speaking about the carbon savings. This is just a summary of the figures, which are quite important for me to get this project approved. Size of system, 14 kilowatt peak. Cost, about 47 grand. It was predicted to generate 12,400 kilowatt hours in a year, which would give us a feed-in tariff of 3,900 a year, savings of electricity of just under £1,000, so about 5 grand. And then as you can see, it's a really good return on investment, around 10%, 10-year payback, and reducing 6 tons of carbon dioxide a year. So securing the feed-in tariff, once the system was installed, Arnhem helped us a lot of the way, providing us our MCS certificate, which you've seen. We stuck with our current electricity supplier, but I understand that you can sell electricity, or you can get your feed-in tariffs from other suppliers. Our form was not too complicated. It was just a 2-page. They wanted to know about the size of it. It was a new build. If we had an export meter, or we wanted one. We currently have a generation meter, but we are asking for an export meter. The significance of that is the surplus that's produced, where you get 3 pence per kilowatt hour when it goes back to the grid. It was a longer process for us because we had to change our meter. So we end up applying around November instead of when we finished, September, October. We got our generation license approved April this year, and we have to provide readings quarterly. When we've asked for our feed-in tariff to pay off our electricity bill. You can get it as a check or backs, I think, as well. So 12 months on, our system, when I did this presentation, had generated 12,850 kilowatts, so it had over-generated. Our feed-in tariff income was just over £4,000. Electricity savings, 1,200. Total savings of £5,300. And the CO2 savings, just under 7 tons of CO2. As I said, we're monitoring the performance monthly, and between September and February, it was quite a scary time. It was winter, there's not a lot of sun, and it wasn't performing as well as it was meant to be performing. However, from February up until now, we've had a lot of sunlight hours on our panel, and it's generally, over the last sort of 12 months, performed about 4% above average, which I think was mentioned earlier on this evening. And our average generation was around 35 kilowatt hours per day. This project has been a success from our point of view, and has enabled us to expand our solar project, and we're actually have come through a tender process and awarded for larger solar systems be put on other council buildings, and we have 6 buildings that we're looking at, and we hopefully will have some solar panels on them before April next year. I think that's it, and that's just me. Thank you. There are no questions, no?
Any questions?
Can I just ask a quick question, or make a point at the same time? Do you have the same situation with our contracts, where the company that we're selling the kit to, or on behalf of the government, as it were, will only pay out unless you actually put your figures in over a 14-day window each 3 months? Or
No.
have you got any leeway at all? Our company won't give us any leeway within that 14-day window.
We've not been given a time frame. We've just been asked to provide a figure around a date, and that's as far as I'm afraid.
Something to watch next time.
Yeah.
Can I just ask whether that was in fact going to one of the big 6 generators?
Yes, big on.
Because you can sell it, to, of course, to the green schemes, people like EcoBicester, and improve your income straight away, because they will on-sell it at a greater rate. And your export tariffs can go up to 6 or 7p. We can sell it £3 or £4 on a small installation, and
It's a very good point to make,
several
actually.
thousands of pounds on something substantial startup. So there's
Yeah.
lots of ways around it, but that's pretty sharp practice in my opinion.
Yeah, you don't have to sell to your supplier, do you? You can auction it. You can sell to anybody.
So that's very much.
Yeah, it's easier to go to your supplier, but as you say, we just heard there may be incentive to look around before you want to sell. Yep.
Thank you very much. So really, I just wanted to thank you all for coming along today as part of the EcoBicester team. It's great to see so many of you here. Also, I'd like to thank the speakers for taking their time out to come and share their experience and their expertise. We have provided some information for you. We've produced a map of Bicester and which roofs have potential to generate green electricity. So feel free to have a look at that map, as well as this information downstairs, and the speakers, I presume, are going to stick around for the next session. Also, there is a sign-in sheet, so if you would like to receive the presentations in as PowerPoint or as video, please fill those in. And there's also a feedback form by the door, and you have a chance to win a TV power down if you give us some feedback on the session today. So really, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming along.
Thank you.